world photography.
So, Sachin, moving forward, I'm sorry we started very late because of the technical issues and everything. But now that we are here, I'm very glad to welcome you. Simply, I just want to ask you, like, what is photography for you? Because today is World Photography Day. So, what is it for you?
Photography for me is it's basically started as a passion and then hobby and passion and then got converted into profession. It's almost to be honest, it's almost everything. I mean, I can be without maybe food, but it's very difficult for me to be without photography. And currently, in current lockdown scenario, I am actually experiencing it how difficult it is for me to, you know,
I
I
know.
actually
know.
Yeah.
be
We've
without
been there.
yeah, photography. Or I'm taking pictures almost every day, but the work has stopped, and that is the time you actually realize how that particular thing is so important to you.
Very true. So, Sachin, can you just share with us about your journey? Like, how did you start and like what are you doing right now? So, if you can just share in few words, it would be great.
Sure. So it all started around 12, 11, 12 years back, and it wasn't like I started and like one day I decided, okay, I'm going to be a fashion photographer or even going to take photography as a profession. It just started as a hobby. I had a camera in a mobile, and then I started taking pictures, then moved on a cyber shot, and I was still pursuing that hobby. That's it. Along with that, studying engineering and with that hobby. And a day came when I realized that, okay, maybe I'm very much interested in this, and maybe I can convert that into profession. And then I took this step. I started freelancing, uh, and after that, I took certain education from Shari Academy. I did freelance. After that, I did some teaching at Symbiosis for 5 years. And currently, I'm again freelancing, mostly working for advertising photography and fashion photography. Yeah. So
Wow,
that's
that's
like
a
12 years in
well,
maybe 1 year.
yeah. So we're learning, like we cannot stop learning photography. So it's like a daily process. So every shoot you do or every photograph that you click, you're learning something new, a new technique or a new idea or a new concept or something like that. So when we talk about fashion photography, people have this, huge perception about it. Like it's these kind of models, and then there are like fancy clothes, and it's all it looks so glamorous. But if you have to define fashion photography, or if you can share the scope of fashion photography in our country, how would that be? Is it all glamorous all the time, or I don't think so. It is.
See,
What
it
is
is.
your
It is. I will not deny that it is. I will not say that it's not glamorous. It definitely is. Okay, and this clothes and styling and all of this, it fascinates me a lot, and that is one of the reason I'm into this particular genre of photography. But if the way images, when you look at the photographs, they're so amazing and everything, but making that process sometimes can be very boring. I mean, you will enjoy pictures, but if you come for the shoot, actual shoot, the the entire process can be very boring for a third person. But having said that, maybe I'm completely involved, or the team is completely involved in the process, and they are so passionate about it. So we don't feel it's boring or anything like that. It is. Glamorous, but at the same time, it's fun also, because it's not something that you're shooting a product or something which is non-living object. You're taking pictures of somebody who is living. You're working with a team, and yeah, so shooting, and during the shoot, there's a lot of fun that also happens. But I would also say that it's a long process to get amazing 8 pictures. You have to spend good 8 hours sometimes. About your second thing is scope of fashion photography in India. So it's when I started, it was very limited around 10 years back. Now market is growing and in various different directions. You will see fashion photography is being used in a lot of advertisements of even products. So yeah, there is a lot of scope now. Even now, we can call it a digital era, and for social media and everything, there's a lot. It's a completely different platform. So there are a lot of opportunities for people who want to get in, but just don't get in just because it's a glamorous field, because there is a lot more than that glamour in fashion photography. So if you actually enjoy doing that, you have that kind of personality in you, I think maybe you should definitely go for it. Yeah.
Okay. And like when we talk about fashion, like right, you said that the process sometimes can be boring because I have shot in the studio, and as the photos look, the process it can go like you have to tell what you want, and then you have to coordinate with the entire team. So definitely yes, it becomes too time consuming and you get tired in the end of the day. But I don't think so. Like, look, when I look at your pictures, like you have so many followers on Instagram and on your social media. So I don't think that anybody gets is getting tired or will ever get tired to see your photographs.
Thank you.
So we are seeing a lot of work that you're doing, and I believe that you are more into creating something new all the time. It's not just just take a nice looking model, put some nice looking clothes and makeup, and do the lighting and shoot. You always have something more to your pictures, and we have seen it for a very long time. So recently, what is up to, like what is going on? So we would love to see your photographs, because I think more than talking to you, all that we are interested is discussing your pictures. So
Okay,
if you can,
I have a small PDF. Maybe I can share my screen and show that to you right now.
yeah,
And
that would be just
if you have any, if you want to talk about any particular picture, maybe you can ask me then and there. Okay. So I'll
yes,
just
definitely.
share my screen.
Yes. And after you start showing your pictures, you can also share about your photographs being published in international magazines.
Yeah. Okay. I can. Let's do this, and maybe I will show you a couple of editorials which were published. Okay, so can you see my screen right now?
Yes.
Okay, okay, all right. I have basically divided it in three different parts: commercial and editorial and personal. So first is commercial.
So if you can just explain in one sentence also, like what is the difference between commercial and when you say editorial, because I think we have a lot of people who don't know the difference.
Commercial is basically done for a client, particularly a client or for advertisement purpose. So, for example, if you see here, it's done for Pure the handbags. So this was a campaign which I did last year. So yeah, so commercial is basically work done for a client for to advertise their products. Editorial is basically done for fashion magazines, and personal is some work which I keep doing, to explore myself. So this is how these three things are divided. Okay. Am I audible, Tanvi?
Yes, yes, we can hear you. So when you do work for commercial, what are the important elements that you need to focus?
See, commercial is basically first is client's requirement and understanding the product which they have. Okay, so it's not even like a lot of time commercial is not one day job. It's like one day shooting. Before that, there are several meetings, brainstorming that keep happening, and then we reach to a particular concept or a development for this particular product which they want to sell, and then a team get together and decide how we are going to execute it, and then actual shoot day comes. So it's basically maybe more than a day process. for commercial photography.
So right now you just mentioned about the concept that is there, and that is one thing I have seen in your work for like quite a long time now. So how important is conceptualization or idea for your pictures? Like for this also, it's a you cannot say this is like a mainstream photograph with the shadows and everything which was there before. So when you talk about concepts, what is it for you? Like how can we define that one thing?
See, what I feel is, good model, good clothes, and a good lighting. All these are technical aspects of photography, I
True.
believe.
Yeah.
Concept is the thing which is going to, make that image stand out, and that is the key element of any photograph. It's not only fashion photograph or fashion photography, but any kind of photography. If there is a concept, it makes it very, very strong. And so I believe that, first we always decide a concept that, okay, this is a product, how are we going to show it, or is there any particular way we want to show or present that product to the market, and we build that concept around it, and then everything else is executed as per that concept which we have decided.
Okay, these photographs they are I think for a fabric brand. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. This was done. So basically, if you see that there are props and everything, but at the
Yeah.
same time, the colors are such so that only their clothes they stand out.
Yeah.
That
True.
that is also very, very important.
So when you're doing commercial photography, the main thing is like not to focus on the model, but to focus on the product that you're trying to sell.
Product is what you're selling, so product is the main king, main thing in the picture. But at the same time, model is also important. The reason being, she's the one who is going to give that feeling or vibe to that product, or going to make that product look alive. So that is also important, how that model is also carrying. So it's important to brief that person also, that what is the concept that you're executing, what is the mood that you want, and then go for the shoot.
So is it is the job of photographer to direct the model and
Most of the time, yes. Most of the
yeah.
time.
Okay. So can we move forward with the
So this was the commercial segment, and then
okay.
editorial. So all these pictures here, they are published in different magazines. Uh,
So what is editorial like? Like we saw the commercial part, it's for the selling
Yeah,
of the product.
basically images which are used to show the trend which is happening in the market. We are talking about fashion, so trends in fashion, which are shown in the magazine. So generally, whenever you go take any magazine, you will see that there are 7 8 pages, and you will get to see certain latest style and then a shoot done in that particular trend. So that is basically the editorial in very easy words, basically.
So as a photographer, how do you keep up to the trend? Like what is going on and what do you have to shoot? So how do you as a photographer research on this part? Because I think it just doesn't come to you like कि हाँ ये trend है तो ऐसे चलेगा.
So researching is also a very, very important part to stay up to date. Uh, Researching about fashion, not just about photography, but also about fashion. So there are a lot of different fashion shows that keep on happening, fashion weeks that keep on happening. So fashion weeks are the things which they actually tell that what is the new that different designers are making. So you get about what kind of clothes are there in trending. A lot of time when you visit these fashion stores, you will get to know, you will see the displays, and you will get an idea. Okay, this is what they are selling, and they are selling it because that is what is the trending, that is the current trend. Um, so it's all study, it's all research online and also offline. You have to keep your eye open and keep looking for what exactly is happening. A lot of time in fashion, this also happens that particular trend or particular way or particular style, it comes back after a point, maybe after a decade or two. But also it is presented in a different way. So you have to keep this track also. Okay, this was there in maybe 1980s, and now this has come back, but with slight modification or slight changes or slight alteration. So yeah, so this is, it's a study and it's a research and study both basically. So which you have to do apart from photography. uh, Also, when you work with a good stylist, that person also plays very important role. Because that person is also very updated about current trend and fashion.
If we could go like two slides back, the one picture with a red drape, and she's got something net on her face. So, can we talk about these two pictures because they're really very interesting, and we would like to know that exactly what is happening here.
See, I wanted to express this, era where film noir was so important, in focus, and especially in Hollywood films. So it all started from that particular uh, thought, and then we developed it. Then we added this particular, red color and lighting as per the film noir and that era, and presented it in slightly modern way. So it's, you can see film noir or that particular era presented in a little. It's more like a fusion of current way of lighting and trend with film noir.
Because the picture on the left hand side is really beautiful with the circular light happening and her hair. Because most of the pictures, I think the way you shoot pictures is not the way you see. Because I think the angles are very different. There's something action happening with the hair or the fabric is moving in certain way.
I love shooting images when there is, certain action or certain movement that is happening. I like to capture that moment. Otherwise, it's very steady for me. It becomes absolutely product. You're shooting a living person, right? So that has a ability to move, and you're shooting clothes that also can be moved. So I always ask my models to jump or keep moving, and then I shoot. It's not, I never shoot when they're doing like very static poses and then I'm taking pictures. They're always moving. I just share them what kind of vibe that I'm looking for, and that's it. I don't direct them that, okay, I want your hands like this or I want your legs like this.
I
Or
think that vibe is very important that you
I,
connect with.
so you share that vibe with the model, and that person is also somebody who has certain experience and expertise. So it's very interesting to see when you share your vibe, and then uh, vibe that you're looking for, and then that person executes it in her or his own way. So yeah, so it's a complete process, and
It's a complete give and take process. So it's like you're sharing the vibes, you're getting the concept out, and you're finally executing it in such kind of photographs. I think that is very important. But this also comes from the experience that you have, the research that you have done, or the study you constantly keep looking for.
right. So, for me, I think advantage is I am into such profession, which is also my passion and hobby, so whenever I'm doing something about photography, I don't feel like, I'm working. And that's really, really great feeling, no matter how many hours you're spending, you don't feel like you're working because you're actually working for the passion that you have or hobby that you have. and
True.
and I think that's a advantage. So I'm always connected to photography one way or another. There's not a single day, maybe an entire decade, that I did not do anything for photography. So it's always something or another thing is happening, and I think that is what reflects in the picture.
because yesterday also we had a session, day before also we had a session, and I think this is one uh, constant thing that has been coming up from Ranjan sir, from Amit sir, and even today you are saying this, that consistency is the key, that every day you have to make at least one picture, because this is the third time we are hearing it in this entire week. So
I will slightly defer to that. That maybe don't take pictures every day. I mean, if it is not possible, but stay connected. Photography is not only just taking pictures, but it's also training your mind or how you look at things. So that is also important. I think that also falls in study or learning or improving your photography. It's amazing if you can actually take pictures every day, but if you cannot, but that is also fine, but you have to be connected to photography one way or another. That is how I look at it, at least.
okay, that was some good insight. I think everybody should follow keeping in touch when they say that it is their passion. So everybody needs to do that to seek it, because there are a lot of photographers who are like, we have a camera and we'll start shooting and we'll start making money out of it, but they're really not connected to the art
See,
of
this
that
is
passion
another
of
thing.
theirs.
This is another thing, Tanvi, that uh, photography. I never started photography to make money. Okay, it was a passion. I didn't want to do anything else. I want to keep doing this, so I converted that into a profession. Of course, money is important, how you make money and everything, but I never started this as a, to make money. I didn't want to do anything else, and that is how I started doing it. Money, of course, once you get into that, you understand how the commercial works, how the business of photography works.
Right.
And then as per your ability, you make money. Um, uh, but but I would advise that, if you have this anybody who is watching, whoever is watching, if you have this passion, you just keep following it. A point will come where you will get an idea that, okay, with this passion, this is how I can, make certain money, and maybe then get into that. But don't just start doing it to make money. I think it's a field which is connected to art, and money cannot be the center point of it.
Exactly. So this is really great to know. So can we move ahead, because it's like watching your pictures has always been every photograph has something different to say, something different is happening.
Yeah, right.
So when you like the concept when is chosen for like now when we talk about editorial, it's about trends that's going on. So the trends have fabrics, the trends have color palette that is decided for every year or every 3 months or something like that. So how do you decide what kind of is, do you have any specific liking, like this is what I love to do, or this is my comfort zone, or you just like love to go and explore like everything that is happening?
See, my comfort zone, I would say, is shooting inside the studio. Okay, that's the only comfort zone I have, and I'm trying to break it, to be honest. But that's my comfort zone, and I love to explore the possibilities that can happen inside those four walls. So, if you see, most of my pictures are shot inside the studio and not outdoors. There are certain pictures outdoors in commercial images, but mostly you will see pictures which are shot in the studio. Apart from that, there's no comfort zone, or there's no particular thing which I stick to. I keep exploring and experimenting. Um, and once I find something new, I explore it even more further. So I keep doing that, sometimes again and again, honestly. And then a point comes, and it when I realize, okay, I need to explore something different, and then I move on. So there's no particular thing that, I uh, keep doing apart from, shooting inside the studio. But I'm now I think I'm gonna break that also. I'm gonna come out of that comfort zone which I have, and I think in coming time you will see a lot of pictures which are shot
Yeah,
outdoors.
we'll be waiting for some outdoor shoots, because if we have seen such a great work inside, I think outdoors is just like no limits. So you can just go all creative and explore everything that is around you, I think.
True, true.
And about your international magazines, like there are some photographs which were published in magazines in Paris and all.
Yeah.
So if we can talk about that, how did that happen?
No, so there are these several magazines all over the world, and they constantly asking for or looking for some great work editorials, and sometimes they have open themes, sometimes they have a particular theme on which they want pictures to be published in their magazines. So, you have to work along with that. They have certain deadlines. You submit that work. They find it, you know, fitted to their aesthetics. Then they publish it in their magazine. It's to be honest, it's not very difficult task. It's just that you have your pictures has to have certain quality and standard, because they're not just digital magazine, they print it also. So that particular technical aspect also has to be there. When all these things meet, maybe they publish it, and yeah, it's really good for exposure. I feel there's no involvement of money in this particular thing, but it's really good exposure. Plus, you get a chance to explore yourself. Editorial is something where you will see a lot of variations in my images in editorial section than commercial section, because editorial is something which I do for myself and I explore more and more. And that you get that chance, and then after that, if your images get published, it feels like kind of approval. And yeah, so that is how it is. So I did a shoot. I will show this particular shoot to you, which got published in one of the magazines in Paris. So the name for this editorial was Handle with Care. And so I had this thought that maybe I will work something on bubble wrap. So I'm very fascinated about using use of plastic and leather. Okay, I know
Yeah, I've seen it in a lot of your pictures.
you will actually see that, because and I love to experiment with uh, you know instead of ready-made or stitched clothes, I love to experiment with draping, because it gives you something which is just one time. You cannot do that again, and very interesting different silhouettes. So this particular project, I had this thought that why can't I use bubble wraps? So this was a thought, and I got those um, garments made with the stylist, and then we did this shoot. I'll just show it to you. So all these are clothes which are stitched from bubble wrap,
This is really interesting.
and then we accessorize it with few other things.
So this is like actual bubble wrap.
Yes,
That
yes. And you know what, Tanvi, I'll tell you something funny about this shoot. So I really wanted to do this on a terrace, and I really wanted to have a nice sky, like blue sky. Maybe if I'm lucky, some clouds. And I stay in Mumbai, and I couldn't find a good terrace, with only sky. There were buildings all around and stuff.
yeah.
So I decided that I will take entire team. We left from Mumbai. We came to Pune, and then we shot this on my parents' house on the terrace, just for sake. So this is, a lot of people say, Sachin, this is madness, but that is what makes these pictures. So if you see this sky, I'll show you again. the
Yeah.
quality of
So
the
you have
light,
so you have
light
a blue sky, you have clouds.
and sky. So that
Yeah.
is adding so much in the picture. And I am of this. I mean, this is my personal opinion. I don't like to replace things from the picture, like removing sky or adding something different. If you take this picture, mostly in Bombay, you will see some buildings and you will
Yeah.
see gray sky, because so much of pollution and everything. So, just for this particular reason, I could have done that very easily, in post, but I decided, okay, I will, travel and then do this.
Stick to the so basically you did not settle for
Yeah.
location or for and add it in the post like many of them are like when we go and ask array but there's no clouds in the sky array wo photoshop pe add ho jayega. So I think yes, photoshop is a very
So
important aspect of
I think
photography.
I think Photoshop is definitely blazing, but please do not take your photography for granted. That is how
Yeah,
I do.
exactly. So when we see a series like this, we know that at some point you don't have to settle for something, even if it means that you have to travel from one place to another, take your entire crew, your models, and things like that. But I think this is what we get when you don't settle for anything, when you don't just compromise, because there is always a difference between a nice natural blue sky and a photoshopped blue sky. So that this is what hard work looks like, and yes, this is complete madness, but that is what it takes to be a good photographer or even an artist for that matter of fact.
Yeah. No, I
So
and there are people, they have for sake of good images, they'll go to Run of Kutch, they will go to Ladakh and do the shooting.
yeah,
Uh, so yeah, that madness is required. You cannot be अरे यार कर लेते हैं, with whatever is available.
चल
Uh,
जाता है attitude.
that is also a skill, to create amazing results with whatever is available. But if it is required, and if you can by any means arrange that particular thing that is required, then nothing like it.
No, but this is really like as I said before also, like this is what being connected to your work look like. And now we would love to, like we saw your commercial, we saw your editorial work as well. We want to see more of your pictures now. Like the last section you told you'll be sharing, so we want to see more of that.
Sure. Just 1 minute. So personal section is more about exploring, more about moods, and simple portraits.
So when you take photographs for yourself, like when we do editorial, it's basically following trends. When
Right.
you do commercial, it's like basically what client wants and needs to be done. But when you do fashion photography for yourself, like when you work for yourself and make pictures, what is it like? How is
So
it? Is it the
when
same? Is
I
it
when I work for myself, I will not call it fashion photography. I will call it something which I'm doing for myself, photography. It's just that connected to this domain of fashion, because I am somehow fascinated or connected to that particular domain. So it's just that in this picture you will get to see moods and vibes and compositions and experiments which I love to do, and which I have in my head. And there is no boundaries when I'm creating anything like that. They might look very simple images, but sometimes creating something minimal, simple is also important. A lot of time we cannot do that in commercial zone or in editorial zone. So yeah, it's me expressing myself as a person or photographer, as an artist.
keeping things minimum? I think it's a very hard thing to do because you can always have all the tamjam like fancy lights and fancy backgrounds and props and everything, but capturing those minimalistic things like two or three and adding to the expression, I think that is the very toughest part, which many struggle with a lot because Too
It's
much.
a difficult
Okay.
part, especially when you're so used to see so many things, or a lot of things happening in the picture, especially when you do commercial or editorial, and then coming back to extreme minimal images or that zone. It's You need certain kind of self control. It's like you're eating a lot of a different kind of food and junk food and everything, and then one day you have to detox, and you have to, you even though you crave for something, that particular day you have to manage with whatever good for your body. So it's something like that. It's more like detox, that very simple, just one clean background model and one light, and then explore possibilities, um, have a connection and take pictures. So yeah.
You play a lot with expressions and emotions when like when we see your personal work, it's lot of, and it's a very different expression. Like the makeup will be like the picture, the black and white one, the makeup and everything is very glamorous, but her expressions are very unmatching too. So there's a lot of juxtaposition of what is there and what expression is. So I think that holds attention of everybody.
Yeah, true, true. I remember. I mean, when you said this, I also remember. There's this picture of, I think, Marilyn Monroe by Richard Avedon. So there's some
Yeah.
amazing glamorous pictures, and then there's just one portrait of Marilyn Monroe which got really famous. Where she is not paying attention and all of that. So sometimes it's not just this glamour and glitter that is gonna make the picture great. Sometimes this real emotions also can make images really interesting.
But these are really interesting pictures. And like, who are you? Like now you mentioned Richard Avedon. Who is your inspiration? Like I know Richard Avedon is your biggest inspiration, but along with that, who else is one you idolize or
See, there are these two photographers which have played extremely important role in my vision as a photographer. One is Richard Avedon, another is Tim Walker. Okay. Recently, Paulo Roversi also, I have been seeing his images, and I really love the way he makes images. In India, I have always loved the images shot by Prabhu Das Gupta. So these are like, some photographers whose work really have inspired me, moved me, I would say.
yeah, and we see a lot of that glimpse in your photographs every time. So
I think I keep seeing their work, and then maybe it gets registered in subconscious when I'm shooting. That it comes out. So uh, there's a possibility that might happen.
but it's nice to see. It's like there's a bit of touch of Richard Avedon, or there's a bit of touch of Prabhudadas happening in like every
That,
little
that,
photograph.
that's a very very good, big compliment. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
and again we see a lot of action happening in your photographs. So I think that's another key that you have.
Yeah.
I think by now there has been a point like you see a picture and you know that this is Sachin Chandane's work. So I think that is like the biggest achievement to be in this industry, that people can see your work and name it like, "Arey ha, ye Sachin ka hoga." So I think that is one thing which is quite achievable in the industry.
I think it's very important for each and every artist to have his or her own signature. It will not happen overnight, of course, but you have to find that what is it that you see a lot, what is it that you shoot a lot, what is it that you like to shoot a lot. And if you keep noticing, you realize that okay, I'm slightly moved towards this particular thing, and then if you explore in that particular zone, you find that signature of yours. I will not say that I exactly have found it out. But yeah, I mean, you can see that there is a variation in my images, but then there is that slight signature of my style. Say
I think
maybe
that's
processing.
that's a sign of being a good artist. Like when you are committed to what you're doing, I think that signature comes automatically. And as you said that you might have not really found it, but then it's a process. So we cannot say that that I think the day you find it is going to be a state of nirvana, like every other artist. Like once you find it, that one thing, it's a nirvana for everybody.
Yeah, true, true. I don't think that, I don't wish to, find it also, because, then it's like I, maybe end point,
Yeah.
and then there is nothing to explore, but, or maybe another, exploring another signature. Uh, don't know. I mean, I'm just, this is, even though after 10 years, one thing I know for sure that, I'm just exploring and improving. That's it. And learning.
That's a really good takeaway for everybody who's listening right now. That keep going and trust what you're doing.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's it. I think this was the entire PDF which I have. So we saw all these three different segments.
So these are very, like every photograph is different from every other photograph. It defines your style of work. So if I may ask one, you cannot really say advice, but like, something that you want to tell anybody who's watching right now or who wants to be a fashion photographer or let's just put it in like words, like if somebody wants to be a good artist.
Oh,
So
okay.
what are two things that are necessary for them to do.
Sure. Tanvi, is it okay if I stop
Yeah, yeah,
sharing?
yeah. Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. All right. So, one thing is, as an artist, I think it's really important to train your subconscious, or, your mind. So continuously keep looking at something new. Maybe, let's say, a view, let's say some reference images, movies, whatever, which will give you certain visual food. I think if you keep looking at it, your subconscious will notice, and then, it will train, you, or make yourself a better artist. Can be paintings also. It can be some. There can be some sculptures, whatever, which has certain visual value, aesthetics. Um, I think it's very very important to keep, uh, looking at it almost whenever possible. So that is one advice. So it's gonna train you as an artist. Another thing is consistency. There's nothing gonna happen without consistency.
To
In
that.
your photography practice, technical aspect of photography, artistic aspect of photography, it's not only for fashion. Any kind of photography or any kind of art, consistency is really important. It cannot be like, you do something for a week and then you take a gap and not do anything for months and then again get into. So, I got a little lazy in during this lockdown period, and, I did not maybe do something for maybe 5 days, 10 days, and then when I uh, was my on again on my computer, I realized that, the speed I had when I was correcting my images and everything, that was has gone low. So, or the result which I was producing, it's not coming the way it was. So, just 10-15 days of not doing anything can, create certain issues. Apart from that, I think photography is not something which is like a rocket science. It's quite easy. It's just that hard work is needed. So I always tell, whenever I used to teach, I always used to say this particular thing, that, if I can do it, I think literally everybody can do it. I'm I'm not a very bright or brilliant person, or somebody with extreme high IQ or something. So if I can do it, I think almost everyone can achieve something really amazing in photography.
I think this was really a very nice talk. I think even we had a talk after a very long time about all this stuff. So there are a lot of students who are asking that like we want how it is to see whatever you have shot practically. So I think once the lockdown is kind of over, I think we might have you here so that students can witness it like firsthand. Like, okay, this is the entire process of the shoot that goes on. And yes, like the things that we got from you today about being consistent and getting, like, you have to keep kickstarting your brain every day to do things when you are a photographer or any kind of artist. And the second thing, the concepts that you have, the way you express, I think a lot of people have this very different concepts in their head, but when it comes to execution, there is something which gets compromised, or there is like कि सोचा कुछ और था हो कुछ और गया type.
But then,
So
I will tell you something that for that, technical knowledge is also very important. Your mind is very vivid, and it can give you amazing ideas. Now, how to actually bring that or in the picture is how you or how much you know about your equipments and how to handle them and all of this. So, technical. It cannot be like, okay, I have extremely interesting mind, but I don't know much about technicalities about photography. That is not going to work. And something which is like extremely technical person, but I don't know much about creativity. That is also not going to work. Yeah, of course, it will work if these two people come together and
come
create
together
something.
and create something.
But individually, maybe it might be a very tough task, and you can train yourself to do both. I mean, I'm not saying that everybody is maybe born artist. I don't think that I was born artist or something like that. But I trained myself to not even, I won't even say to become one or like that, but I trained uh, um, my creative aspect which I have in myself. So yeah,
So, Sachin, thanks for joining us today. It was really amazing time, and your pictures have always been the highlight. So, those who follow you for a very long time know the journey that you have been through.
yeah.
So, once again, a big thanks from everybody who's watching, from Turk Maharashtra Vidyapeeth's Department of Journalism and Mass Communication as well. And I hope that we have more of such sessions, not just like on a virtual platform, but like physically be there. And as you mentioned before, like the stylist and the makeup artist also plays a very important part. So tomorrow we have a session with a stylist and a makeup artist. So
Okay.
I think after today's session, they everybody who's watching and come back, and they'll have a different idea of how these work together.
Yeah.
So once again, thanks a lot, and wish you a very happy World Photography Day once again. And to all of those who are watching, thanks for being here today. So hopefully we'll catch up really soon. And thank you so much.
Thank you.